Hi, everybody. It's Grimm, and this is Deep Work Fast, where every Tuesday I bring you ideas, concepts, and tools to help you be the best that you can at home, at work, in any and every role that you play: parent, boss, coworker, employee, partner. You got them all, I'm sure. And even if you don't, you may someday. And every tool that we have, and maybe you don't know this, I have two companies. I have Aria Consulting. We've been doing work in corporate, not just America, around the world for about 28 years. And I have a business that focuses on individuals, sometimes the same people, by the way, and you know who you are. And it's great. And what it teaches me is how to take all of our tools, the tools that work really great in leadership and management and team development, and the things we use with individuals so that our toolkit can help you no matter what, right? And the whole idea of all of it is to help everybody be better, even if we're in the middle of large scale change or growing a company from scratch, or if it's a family systems issue and your family wants to be different, you want to be different, maybe things are changing. We've got all of those tools. And so Deep Work Fast is my way of giving everybody what I can for free as much as possible, and at least once a week. We also publish a blog on Mondays. Every blog is a very short read, and it's where I take these ideas, concepts, and tools, and I give you like the gold in a little bit of a nugget, if you will, so that you can get some awareness around it. And if you have awareness, then you can start actually using it, like practicing new things so that you can get the results that you want. So this week, I decided to do a deep dive on a book that I introduced about a month or so ago. I did a list of the top 5 books that everybody should read. One of them was a book called The Fifth Discipline by Peter Senge. This is a management classic. It's been around for a bit. It's still highly relevant. Today, I want to talk about why, and the blog I dropped yesterday is called Level Up. And it focuses on just one of the 5 disciplines. So this is about the 5th discipline. There are 5 of them. So it focuses on one of them called personal mastery, so that you personally can go from being like unhappy to happy, or just good, normal good, to outstanding. Maybe you want to get promoted. Maybe you want to change jobs. Maybe in your personal life, you're looking really to do everything better, to change your life. Maybe you want to be more abundant. Maybe you want to have better and happier relationships. Whatever it is, I want to help you do that. And this is one of the tools that I know for sure will help you. So if you don't want to run out and get this book really quickly, let me do something here for you, which is just show you the one piece that I hope that you focus on. If you are a manager or a leader and you've never heard of this before, I highly recommend you grab it, or at least grab a summary, so that you can start to understand some of the principles in here. Most likely your organization is using some of them. So even if it's not broadcast or out there for everyone to know, you're probably using some of these principles. So really quickly, let me just give you an overview. Peter Senge is, a grandfather in the organizational leadership space. Like I said, this is a management classic. The reason is because at a certain point in time, when he published this at first, he said, time out. Why is it that organizations tend to follow the same playbook, if you will, around management and leadership, and we still keep getting the same predictable problems in most industries over and over and over again? The core big problems that no one seems able, like they can't solve it. And his theory was, and it's been put into practice, so I know his theory was right and his tools work, was that if an organization stays in normal ways of thinking, and what he meant by that was short-term problem solving, right? So think about that. Most organizations, and frankly, culturally, we are programmed to do a lot of things quickly. We want immediate gratification. We also have learned to problem solve by taking things apart and going for what we call the low-hanging fruit. You probably do it. You probably do it with your team. You probably teach it to your children because that would be normal. We do that. And what I mean by that is we say, okay, take take that big thing apart. Let's solve the low-hanging fruit, or the things most obvious, the thing easiest to solve first. And then what happens in organizations is that the organization then ends up suffering from the long-term, or what we call downstream effects of that. Because when you solve big problems in pieces, or if in an organization, you solve it in each function of the business, right? So one part of the business focuses on the problems they have related to the big problem. Oftentimes, because we don't often teach one of the disciplines, it's called systems thinking, we don't spend enough time thinking about the effect of those changes. So we tweak things over here, not really caring, not having the time or energy to care about how it's going to impact all the other parts. So one of the disciplines here is called systems thinking, and it is really the practice of teaching everyone in a system. So at work, you could do this with your family, how the whole system works, how all the parts contribute. And if we're solving a problem, we look at that problem from all the vantage points and start to really think about, wait a minute, before you solve that problem, even though I know you want to solve it, and maybe there's pain points in places that are really bad, and we can't wait, we need to solve this problem. It's costing money, people are quitting, we're losing customers. I know you know, right? We slow that down, and we do work as a system first and make sure that whatever we're going to tweak, or whatever big things we're going to do, that we know what are the possible implications. What is going to change in all other parts of the system when we do that? And do we still want to make that decision? Now, one of the things that we run up against when we use systems thinking is that we have systems in our families and at work where we don't know how to override the dynamic that's created when we incentivize, reward people for short-term thinking. Like I said, in public companies, we do that because, of course, results are recorded on a quarterly basis, at least, sometimes more often than that, right? But a quarter is a big deal in a public system. And because of that, we often incentivize people with money, but also with rewards and recognition for doing things in quarters. That's how business tends to work. And because we have a public company system and big companies and brands run that way, little companies and your business, maybe even if you have a small business, tends to think about that too in some way, shape, or form. And we also have that in our life. We often are going by a school calendar or an annual calendar, or we break that up in pieces by the sports season your kid plays or whatever is going on, right? Do you see how we have these milestones and we tend to think like that? And so we make decisions inside these time frames. And let's go back to the original point of this, right? Peter Senge said, hey guys, when we do short-term problem solving, which seems to be the way we all think, we're not really ever paying attention and often have no idea what the long-term downstream impact is. And most of the time, the solutions to our near-term, short-term problems actually cause the long-term, big, ugly core problems and systems issues that we have later. Probably not what anybody intends to do. That's not what we want, but that's really what happens in that type of thinking. So of the disciplines I've told you, there's personal mastery, there's systems thinking, there's also mental models. I have introduced those before. Our mental models are our deeply held belief systems, the way we think about whole things, the mental models that exist in a family or in an organization that are shared are very, very powerful. It's the way things go around here. It's how we do things. It's our culture. It's our decision-making frameworks. So if we can't know what those are, well, we can't keep them from creating problems. And that's what happens a lot of the time. We end up having, I have a guest appearance here today. Shast, what are we doing? Hi, sit down, please. Gotta love work at home. Anyway, so systems thinking, mental models, personal mastery, there's also building a shared vision, which is very, very difficult. And often I see that portrayed as an easy thing to do. And often in organizations and in families, we do a shared vision at the top of the house. In a family, it might be the parents. And in the workplace, it's often the leaders at the top of the house. And once those people come to some level of consensus or agreement about what the vision is, we roll it out to everyone. In the fifth discipline, Peter Senge says, you kind of need more people. The more people who are involved in sharing your vision, in coming up with the vision, the better the chances that we can all learn together to do something new. And that's also a discipline. So team learning and individual learning, which is in personal mastery, but team learning is critical, right? All of the fifth discipline actually was written about being what's called a learning organization. Now, that doesn't mean we have a training department. You should have a training department, but that's not what learning organization means. And I have been in many, many client companies where they often think that being a learning organization is the job of HR, to have coaching and training for people. And I would say to you, being a learning organization is the job of everyone. So it's a cultural philosophy that if you buy into it, it's really saying to everyone is, we are not going to be okay with just one or two people learning. We need everybody in our system to learn how to learn. We want everyone to move together through this. So we can't just have pockets or one or two people. It would be the same if you apply this to your family and you say, we want a learning organization family or a learning family, right? So that means everybody's learning and growing constantly as lifelong learners. It's not just like, I'm going to go take a shallow course online and hope one or two things stick. In a learning organization, we commit to learning. And we commit to applying our collective learning to ensuring that the system is agile. Now, I'm not saying agile just like the engineering term for developers. I mean flexible. I mean, we have an organization that knows how to pivot, how to change quickly when the marketplace or other dynamics tell you that our existing way of thinking is wrong. That's what problems are, everybody. When we have pressure from a system, it usually keeps us from meeting our goals. That's usually what we think is a problem. And in a family system, a problem is usually when one or more members of the family are doing things outside of what we think should be. So, because our life is full of these moments, right? Moments when what is actually happening in reality is not what we envisioned, it helps to have a practice that has the type of disciplines that are outlined here. So now I just want to talk with you about the discipline of personal mastery. And again, that's what's outlined in my blog. So, personal mastery has parts to it too. It's broken down fairly easily so that you can tackle it piece by piece. The first thing is having a personal vision. I am not saying just having goals. I mean having a vision for your life. And the vision for your life shouldn't just be about making money. And I've talked about this in some other Deep Work Fast. When we have a highly tangible short-term goal, please don't call that your vision for yourself. That is not your personal vision. A vision should be as far out into your life as you can make it. And I push people, and those of you who know me know, I push you to have a legacy vision. I want you to have something big and bold that goes all the way to the end of your life, and include in that how what you are going to leave as your legacy does something for all the generations to come in your family. And I know for a lot of people that's very, very difficult, specifically if you're under pressure to just make money and survive in your life because your lifestyle requires a lot from you. So personal mastery means getting past all that day-to-day stuff and the concerns of now and creating a vision that is long-term. And as bold and as big as you can make that, the better. Because that helps us put into consideration what you need to learn so that you can close the gap between that vision that you've just set and reality. Because if your vision's big and bold and it goes out way into your life, well, here we are now. Here's that big, bold vision. The space in between that is called a gap. Now, one of the practices of personal mastery is starting to understand what is called embracing creative tension. Here's what that means. It means the tension between now, reality, and that vision you just set. So instead of thinking about it as a problem or a series of problems because you can't get there, and I know some of your minds might be kind of going, oh my God, if I set that bold goal, whoa, that's overwhelming because it's really far away from where I am right now. And I've coached many, many people earlier in their careers who think like that. Like, I want to be a millionaire. Well, and I hardly make minimum wage. So the different thinking here in understanding and embracing creative tension is saying, okay, this is not a bad thing. It might be frustrating, it might be stressful, but I'm going to shift my mindset, which is another practice in personal mastery, where we start to shift our mindset away from negativity and away from always thinking about everything as a problem. And instead saying, okay, creative tension here. How can I use this to motivate me so that I can learn what I need to learn and put that learning into practice and shift my mindset so I'm not always in this kind of problem-solving mode and feeling heavy and depressed or anxious because all I see is problems. We want to shift that mindset so that you start to get motivated by all the things that you need to do and learn so that you can see them as stepping stones to that vision. Now, what I just described to you, if it feels unrealistic or makes you skeptical, that's probably a sign that you could use a mindset change. And that is personal mastery, right? Part of personal mastery are these things. It's you shifting your mindset. It's you seeing all those gaps of reality to your vision as just tension that we can address. Everything is doable inside this system as long as we take the systems approach, right? We're not just going to problem solve. We're not just going to take the job for money. We're not just going to take a step for the first person that offers us a potential or possible solution, the get rich quick or whatever. We're not going to do that, right? That's not the way you think inside this system. And remember, I'm bringing this to you because so many people often come to coaching ready to stop having the problems of the past or whatever they think are the problems of the past and level up. And the only way I know how to do that is for you to adopt the philosophies of personal mastery and then start to apply them to your life. Now, just like anything, it takes discipline, which is why the original book is called The Fifth Discipline. Discipline means you have to commit yourself to new thinking and new practices, and then you actually have to do it. So if you want that and you want more of this and you're ready to do a lot different because you want the results to be a lot different, then you let me know. I'm easy to find. There is a ton on this topic on the internet. There's a lot of good stuff, actually. So if you would, in your browser, search for Personal Mastery, Peter Senge, The Fifth Discipline, there's a ton. And there are really great exercises. I can give you some worksheets. So don't shy away from this. I really, really think, based on all the different conversations I'm having, like I said, at work and with people in their private lives, that you are ready for this. Everybody's really ready for this. So, and remember that the foundation of a learning organization and the reason we're going to use personal mastery is not just to be incrementally better. It is to relearn. It is learn to learn in a different way. And I'm not talking about just reading books. I'm not talking about watching a lot of TED Talks. I'm talking about the whole thing. shifting how you think about problems, shifting about who and how you're talking about problems at work and at home, so that everybody starts to buy into this new philosophy and everybody together starts to have a leveling up. Now, many of you hire people like me to do high performance teamwork with your team. It starts here. And many of you want, like I said, better relationships and better outcomes at home. And it all starts here. Okay, I've given you enough for today. This is really big. I hope you're curious. Download that blog. If you're really brave, get the book, or at least a summary of the book, The Fifth Discipline. Check it out and let me know. Okay, bye. Go you.